What's up, everyone? I just uploaded You're Not Here. That was a fan request, and I've never heard the song before, nor have I played any Silent Hill game. I probably will get to those on streaming. This was a cool song. When someone showed it to me, I was like, yep, I definitely want to do it. I'm not sure if it turned out as good as I thought it was going to be, but maybe you'll like it. I think it was just because I needed to change my approach for this one, and I'm still not sure if exactly I got it right, but it's done. It's uploaded. I'm fine with it. I did a few things different. I'll first solo the vocals, and then we'll talk about it. Wasn't too many tracks. I did more tracks than the original. The original sounded like there was just like one vocal and one harmony. I don't even think I think they doubled up a little parts, but.
Blue sky to forever, the green grass blows in the wind, dancing. It would be a much better sight with you, with me. If you hadn't met me, I'd be fine on my own, baby. Never felt so lonely then you came along. So now what should I do? I'm strung out, addicted to you. My body aches now that you're gone. My supply fell through. Gladly get.
Yeah, so that was pretty, just regular. Nothing to really mention about. I'll just let it play.
Gladly gave me everything you had and more. You craved my happiness when you made me feel joy. It made you smile, but now I feel your stress. Love was never meant to be such a crazy affair, no. And who has time for tears? Never thought I'd sit around and cry for your love. Till now.
All right, let's talk about that. There's one lead, and there's harmonies that I introduced that weren't in the original. I don't even think they really added anything good, but I did keep them in. They were in the key. I mean, they're not singing outside of the box. They're just regular old harmonies. But I'm not sure if they really added anything. Sometimes I had to take a step back and listen to the original and just really understood the original was more about that single track having a lot of emotions and having a real kind of vibe to it. It was hard to kind of pinpoint it. The singer is a female. So when I tried to emulate what she was doing, it didn't really come across the same way as a male vocalist. Just sometimes females can emote things in a different way that you just can't get with a male vocalist. She had a real cool swagger about it, and I thought it was really awesome. I put a double here, but I tucked it so far down after hearing that it just didn't match the song. It wasn't about layering. This is just it's a raw track. It's just a very bare bones track. So the main thing you're hearing is just the lead. It sounded sort of retro. Okay, so this song to me sounds like the singer from the Pretenders, Chrissy Hines, Chrissy Hines, if she fronted Blue Oyster Cult. So that's exactly the vibe I got. What's her? Yeah, I think it's Chrissy Hines or something. Anyway, the lead singer from the Pretenders, if she fronted the Blue Oyster Cult, that's what this song is to me, in my opinion. So it had that sort of vibe from 70s vibe. So instead of my usual stuff, I first started off with I slammed the heck out of the vocals with the LA2A reproduction here with Slate, and then I absolutely slammed it on this one, and then just lightly on the 1176 version from Slate, also the vintage 1176, just to kind of two layers to because I knew I just had to rely on a single vocal. So I really needed to level this vocal out. Started off in a kind of a natural, real easy, natural compression, nothing too crazy. And then I go to my go-to Howard Benson. All the effects were turned off because I knew I wanted like a tape echo and I used a spring reverb. Just sounded, so it sounded a little more old school. So this is just doing a slight about more compression, just because I like the compression of the sounds. It makes it sound a little hotter. And a little bit of EQ just from this preset. Next up, I have a tape echo. And I just let it go till it sounded cool, the timing. And then I just blended it in. So until I didn't want it to be too long of a tail, but I definitely wanted to have this some sort of jank to it. Not jank, but just a little reverb. And then the spring reverb. This is from Air. It's a really cool spring reverb. I just blended it in like 27%. Used the preset Light and Clean. Sounded good to me. And then I used some trim automation where where like things sounded harsh or I had breaths. I wanted to keep the breaths in, but I didn't want them to be as loud. The compression was bringing those out. So I believe that it's really good to keep breaths in whenever possible. Breaths kind of prove to the audience that it's part of a take, that these things are related. They're not just like chopped up little bits. It really helps sell the line. When people hear that, there's breathing in, it just gives it a little bit more authenticity. Like I said, it proves that it's not so chopped up. It's real. It's like a single take. When this is not a single take, these are made from different takes, but I tried to do the long passages, so there were breaths.
With you, with me, if you.
Yeah, so because if I didn't have that trim automation, you would hear the breaths really loudly. And that's cool sometimes when you're like playing like, if it's metal or rock. Okay, so also up here, I did my vocal throws. So these are the delays. So I sent it to another tape one at a quarter note delay. I rolled off a lot of the highs and a lot of the lows. So it looks like it's just sort of all the delay is becoming between 150 and around maybe like 1K, 2K. So kind of a radio-y, just a megaphone sort of deal. And I raise the volume just where I want them to show up. And down here is where they do not show up. So and it gets out of the way. And you can see right there. So that's where it just shows up. All right. I have these harmonies that, like I said, I added.
Gladly gave me everything you had and more. You craved my happiness. When you made me feel joy, it made you smile. But
I don't know if they're a good choice or a bad choice. I put them so low you can't hear them because when I brought them up, I didn't like it. So that tells me that I probably should have just left them out, but I put them in there anyway. And then I did a lower octave just for a little bit of support.
everything you had and more. You craved my happiness. When you made me feel joy, it made you.
When I brought those up, it also kind of ruined the effect. So I could have just left those out, but I left them in just so there was a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of beef in there without hearing it. I don't know if it worked or not. And so after this part, there was just accents, just accent singing. And here's the Don't Fear the Reaper part. And then
Oh, I feel your stress.
I radioed that part. And there's a part where she goes, ugh. And I did that and it sounded kind of silly. So that's why I left it out. I didn't forget it. ugh. She goes, ugh. And like when I sounded, it just sounded like I was like, it sounded bad. It sounded creepy. So I didn't do it. That's why I left it out. I lo-fied that part because it sounded creepy without it. And now the normal voice is here. Okay, well, that's it for the vocals. I guess I need to play the game to understand these lyrics a little bit better. I don't really understand the whole I feel your stress part, or a lot of these lyrics, they don't mean much. I don't really fully understand. So I guess it has something to do with the game. And if any of you are trying to do the same thing, you're trying to sing over some songs and you really want it to be the sort of same level, same quality as the original, I highly recommend, it's pricey, but I highly recommend Slate VSX. So what I do is when I'm done, when I finish everything, I got all the plugins, I'm mixing it all. You throw this guy on and it comes with headphones. And I promise this isn't a sales pitch for this. I'm not sponsored by it, but this is what I use. It's kind of magic. So I will A-B. So I have the original here. And you could pick, different speaker settings. This simulates a mixing room, and you can go like, oh, here's what it sounds like if you're in a Tesla or in an SUV. But I mainly just do the room. Anyway, and then what I'll do is I will go back, I'll mute the original, and I will listen to mine and then match it to make sure that the relationship between the vocals and the mix are pretty much the same, or in the ballpark. This also kind of helps you listen in the other environments. Like the boombox is really helpful because it makes some things pop out. It really identifies like sibilance and percussive stuff. It just gives you different insight, helps you make some better decisions. And you listen to all different rooms and stuff like that. Anyway, that's what I use to get it sounding similar. So because I get a lot of people saying like, hey, how are you getting it to be so close? And this is exactly how I'm getting it to be close. I'm doing it all on headphones. I'm not mixing this on speakers. These are my speakers. It's virtual speakers. I haven't used my speakers since I got this. All right, Slate, give me big bucks because I just plugged your shiz. Anyway, I think that's it. I'm going to jump on streaming in a little bit and see if I can defeat Huggy Wuggy. Later, guys. Oh, and yes, the only thing I know for real is coming. I already had this one in the works, so don't think I'm like procrastinating or putting it off. That's the next song. The only thing I know for real is coming. So sit tight. Peace.